Greetings from the Arcturians and Arcturian 144 here, and also from Orion and the Orion beings, because this message is mainly for President Zelenskyy and, of course, Orion, the Orion beings, is President Zelenskyy's star family. And we've already told President Zelenskyy this, but I'll just repeat myself here. President Zelenskyy hails from a star called Alpha Orionis, also known as Betelgeuse, in the Orion constellation. So I'm getting messages. Like, as I was looking at the news just now, I was getting messages. So I'm just gonna try and deliver these messages as I'm getting them. And this is mainly for President Zelenskyy here. So I'm just looking at the news here, and this is coming from the White House. The White House press secretary, or President Trump's press secretary. And she's saying President Trump fully briefed President Zelenskyy on his conversation. And I'm getting a no. So I'm getting a no here. I'm getting no. President Trump did not fully brief President Zelenskyy on the conversation with Putin and the issues discussed. Not fully. No, is what I'm getting here. President Trump also discussed American ownership, is the word that's being used here. So President Trump also discussed American ownership of those plants would be the best protection. Oh, we're talking about Ukraine power plants, Ukraine's nuclear power plants here. So President Trump also discussed American ownership of Ukraine's nuclear power plants. And the message I'm getting with that is a no. The Arcturians and your star family from Orion, President Zelenskyy, are saying no to that. They're saying bad idea. They're saying it's a bad idea. And also, again, what is with this ownership thing with President Trump? I think I've mentioned this before. I think I've pointed it out to him before, but since he's obviously not paying all that much attention to me and to us and our advice at this point, so I don't know. Maybe he's missing out on key points that I'm talking about or we're talking about here. And I'm not comfortable with this word ownership. Why does it have to be an ownership? Why not partnership? Why use the word ownership? Why not use the word partnership? And not just use the word partnership, but that's what it should be if there is to be anything like that between Ukraine and America. It's like, what is it with Trump just wanting to take from Ukraine as well? Like, first it's the rare earth minerals deal, and now it's oh yeah, how about America takes ownership of Ukraine's power plants as well? How about America takes ownership of Ukraine's nuclear power plants as well? What else do you want to take from Ukraine, President Trump? While we're on the subject, has this been part of your discussions, your telephone discussions, your backdoor, behind the scenes telephone conversations and discussions with President Putin? Is this what you two have been cooking up behind the scenes? It's like, oh yeah, right. President Putin is like, oh yeah, you know what, buddy? I'll take this, and that from Ukraine, or I want this, and that from Ukraine. And you know what? And President Trump, you can take this, and that from Ukraine too. How about we both divide Ukrainian assets among ourselves? Because I'm also hearing President Putin being interested in Ukrainian seaport Odessa as well. And it's a no to that too. President Zelenskyy should say no to that too. It's like dividing the loot, or splitting the loot, or sharing the loot among themselves, meaning President Putin and President Trump. Like whatever they can take and acquire from Ukraine. That's what's going on here. You know what? I'm gonna leave this one here. Over and out.